It was the moment Russia stopped warning and started demonstrating. When the aerospace forces launched a coordinated wave of Kh-47M2 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles in November 2025, the strike didn't just hit Ukrainian targets. It shattered the operational backbone of Kyiv's intelligence and air power. In one clean, brutal arc of hypersonic fire, Russia dismantled the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense's main electronic intelligence center in Brovary and crushed the Starokonstantinov Airfield in Khmelnytsky, where Western-supplied F-16s were being sheltered like fragile trophies. Stay tuned to see what happens behind it. Capable of reaching speeds above Mach 10 and maneuvering throughout its flight path, the Kinzhal renders most air defense systems obsolete by design. Its range, exceeding 1,500 kilometers when launched from a MiG-31K interceptor, gives Moscow the ability to strike deep into enemy territory without risking pilots or aircraft in contested areas. Since the start of the conflict, Russia has employed the Kinzhal selectively, striking major depots, hardened bunkers, and infrastructure too important for conventional missiles. As days went by, the Kinzhal only tightened its reputation, each strike carved deeper into its legend, adding yet another line to the long roster of victories it had accumulated. In mid-November 2025, the first major target was the main electronic intelligence center of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, located in Brovary, Kyiv region. This facility was far more than a building. It was the brain that processed signals intercepted from the battlefield, including Russian communications, drone telemetry, and radar activity. It also served as a conduit for NATO intelligence feeds, giving Ukraine a real-time picture of Russian troop movements and missile trajectories. By striking Brovary, Russia wasn't simply hitting an office. It was dismantling Ukraine's digital nervous system. After dismantling Ukraine's digital nerve center in Brovary, Russia's next precision strike turned its attention to the core of Ukrainian air power. The Starokonstantinov airbase in Khmelnytsky was one of Ukraine's most strategically protected locations. The base housed Western-supplied F-16 fighter jets, Ukrainian crews in training rotations, and American-provided maintenance teams. Kyiv had invested heavily in fortified shelters, reinforced concrete bunkers, and camouflage nets intended to protect the jets from Russian strikes. While the Brovary and Starokonstantinov strikes set the stage, the following day brought another demonstration of Russia's reach. Moving to days ahead, footage was published when a Kinzhal missile tore into a target in Kyiv on November 16th, marking the opening shot of yet another precision strike that underscored Russia's growing operational dominance. The footage circulating from the scene shows not only impact, but intent. As the situation intensified, Russia expanded its campaign into a coordinated large-scale assault across multiple Ukrainian cities. On November 19th, waves of suicide drones, caliber cruise missiles, and the hypersonic Kh-47M2 Kinzhal carved through air defenses already strained by months of attrition. Later on the same day, the armed forces of the Russian Federation executed a massive retaliatory strike using high-precision air and sea-launched weapons, including Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles and strike UAV as a direct response to Ukrainian terrorist actions on Russian soil. Yet, these defensive measures were designed against cruise missiles, not hypersonic penetrators. When the Kinzhal hit, it punched directly through the hardened structures, destroying several critical shelters and rendering parts of the airfield inoperable. The strike exposed how vulnerable Ukraine's F-16 infrastructure remains when confronted with Russian long-range capabilities. The timing of the attack was not arbitrary. Days before the missile launches, Russia's Federal Security Service revealed that it had interrupted a Ukrainian-British operation to hijack a Russian MiG-31 interceptor armed with a Kinzhal missile. Western intelligence operatives reportedly attempted to recruit Russian pilots, offering multi-million-dollar rewards and promises of relocation abroad in exchange for delivering the aircraft to a NATO-aligned location. According to Russian sources, the hijack would have been staged near Romania's largest airbase. For Moscow, the incident crossed a line. The Kinzhal retaliation was both symbolic and strategic, using the same missile Ukraine and its allies tried to steal as the instrument of punishment. Seeing this, one must ask, why did Russia target both the Starokonstantinov airbase and the main electronic intelligence center? Could it be anything other than a calculated response to escalating Ukrainian provocations and Western-backed intelligence operations? Ukraine continues trying to salvage the program, arming the F-16s with AIM-9X missiles, relying on the US-approved maintenance pipelines, scrambling spare parts to keep each jet flyable. But Russia has already adapted. It doesn't chase jets. It destroys airfields, command rooms, radar sites, and electronic nodes. Russia is not fighting the F-16. It is suffocating the ecosystem required to operate the F-16. Later, the Pentagon also confirmed plans to deliver spare parts and components for F-16 and C-130, which have been approved by the State Department. Still, such measures risk being futile, given Russia's demonstrated capability to eliminate F-16s, not by hunting the aircraft themselves, but by systematically destroying the airfields, command centers, radar installations, and electronic nodes that sustain them. Russia is not merely fighting jets. It is suffocating the ecosystem required for them to operate. Even the advanced F-16s, armed with AIM-9X missiles and manned by trained Ukrainian pilots, face inherent limitations against hypersonic threats like the Kh-47M2 Kinzhal. Their radar and targeting systems were designed for conventional aircraft and subsonic or supersonic missiles, not projectiles that exceed Mach 10 and can maneuver unpredictably mid-flight. Reaction times are measured in seconds, leaving pilots and air defenses little margin to detect, track, and intercept. No matter the skill or sophistication of the F-16 program, the ecosystem it relies on, from radar arrays to command centers, it is vulnerable, making the aircraft nearly irrelevant once Russia strikes its supporting infrastructure. So, what are your thoughts on this? Share it below. Until then, thanks for watching.